Okay, welcome back. Let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're demystifying exactly what Cambridge examiners are looking for when it comes to supercomputer characteristics. If you're tackling the 9626 syllabus for information technology, you already know that just memorizing the textbook is, frankly, only half the battle. Think of this exam like being a cricket captain. You need to set your field, read the bowler, which in this case is the examiner, and meticulously score your runs, or marks. Today we're breaking down the exact, step-by-step strategies that will transform your standard, everyday knowledge into a top-tier, A-star exam performance. Let's get into it.
So, what separates a B from an A-star in information technology? I mean, this is literally the million-dollar question for any student taking the 9626 syllabus. And the answer? It lies entirely in how you approach and manipulate complex data. It's not just about dumping raw facts onto the page. Anyone can define what a supercomputer is, but taking that core definition and strategically applying it to a really specific, complex, real-world scenario, that is exactly where the highest marks are won or lost.
Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. We'll cover the A-star differentiator, supercomputer core characteristics, the method mark strategy, mastering critical analysis, and finally, the top 3 examiner warnings.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, the A-star differentiator. I want you to look closely at this quote on the screen. The difference between a B and an A-star in information technology often comes down to how well you understand 2.1 supercomputers, characteristics, specifically fault tolerance and the number of processors. This is straight from a senior examiner's pen. It brilliantly illustrates that deep, nuanced mastery of the specific topic is your ultimate differentiator. The examiners aren't looking for broad, sweeping, generic statements about how fast a computer is. No, they are laser-focused on your ability to articulate the exact nuances of fault tolerance and the specific, measurable impact of processor counts. Grasping these 2 characteristics is your absolute golden ticket. Now, check out how this conceptual framework is mapped out. It forces you to draw on systematic analysis and evidence-based reasoning across 3 distinct cognitive domains. You can think of this as a ladder you have to climb to get those top marks. First, your baseline knowledge. Second, your ability to actually apply that knowledge to a scenario. And third, your analytical skills. You can't just stop at knowing the definition of fault tolerance. You absolutely have to apply it and analyze exactly why it matters in the specific context they've given you. Before we move on to the next section, I want to quickly say, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Ace the Exams, at acetheexams_IGCSE to excel in your Cambridge examinations. Click that subscribe button and hit the bell icon right now. It really helps us out. Okay, back to the strategy. Moving right along to Section 2, supercomputer core characteristics. So the crucial point here is wrapping your head around this highly specific terminology because examiners frequently flag it as one of the concepts students struggle with the most. Let's break it down. Fault tolerance is essentially a system's ability to keep operating seamlessly without any major interruption, even when one or more of its components totally fail. It's like having a backup generator that instantly kicks in. On the flip side, the number of processors dictates the sheer computational muscle and parallel processing capability of the machine. How many workers do you have tackling a massive problem simultaneously? Blurring the lines between these 2 distinct characteristics in your exam answer is a surefire, guaranteed way to lose crucial marks. Look at the sharp contrast on this slide. It completely exposes why rote learning fails. You absolutely must shift from simply stating isolated facts to actually evaluating performance within a given context. A generic average answer simply says something like, supercomputers have many processors. Sure, it's true, but it doesn't score well. An A-star answer, however, explains exactly how those thousands of processors allow a supercomputer to run highly complex weather simulations in real time by dividing the computational load. Do you see the difference there? You have to anchor your technical knowledge deeply into the reality of the question prompt.
Let's dive into Section 3, the method mark strategy. All right, this is the core of our exam strategy today. Here is the exact, standardized sequence you must follow when tackling these exam questions. Think of it as your non-negotiable checklist. Step 1, deconstruct the prompt. Step 2, extract the relevant data. Step 3, select your analytical framework. Step 4, execute with absolute clarity. And Step 5, present it all using precise IT terminology. This procedural framework is exactly how you secure those incredibly valuable method marks, even if your final overall conclusion isn't 100% perfect. The examiner rewards you for the process. Before we jump into the formatting rules, stop scrolling. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Ace the Exams, at acetheexams_IGCSE to excel in your Cambridge examinations. We've helped thousands of students improve by 2-3 grade boundaries. Join them right now by subscribing to @ACExams_IGCSE and turn on all notifications so you never miss our weekly exam strategy sessions. Okay, alongside the method, you also need to rigorously deploy these strict presentation conventions. We're talking about applying the correct formats, using proper headings, and ensuring crystal clear annotation. Let me be clear, this isn't just about making your exam paper look pretty. It demonstrates directly to the examiner that you possess the high-level professional skills and data interpretation abilities required at the AS and A level. It proves your systematic processing is fundamentally sound. Don't leave these easy marks on the table.
Now for Section 4, Mastering Critical Analysis.
The critical analysis framework we use is built on these 3 sequential steps. This is what the examiners mean when they ask for higher-order skills. You start at the baseline, the descriptive level, where you simply outline the supercomputer's characteristics. Then you step up to the analytical level, breaking down exactly how those characteristics interact with the specific problem in the prompt. And finally, you ascend to the evaluative level. This is where you're evaluating alternatives, comparing different approaches, and making justified recommendations backed by solid evidence. To actually reach that top-tier evaluative level we just talked about, you have to assess the quality of the evidence using these 4 exact criteria. When you're discussing fault tolerance or processor counts, ask yourself, what are the limitations of the system in this specific scenario? What assumptions are being made about the data workload? Are there alternate interpretations of the information provided? And ultimately, how do all these factors affect the final conclusion you're drawing? Hitting this level of depth is exactly what locks in the A-star.
Finally, let's look at Section 5, Top 3 Examiner Warnings.
3. There are 3 massive, recurring mistakes that consistently rob students of marks when discussing supercomputer fault tolerance and processors. Examiners pulled their hair out seeing these same errors year after year, and the best part? They are entirely preventable.
Let's break them down. Notice how all 3 of these warnings revolve around a total failure to systematically process the provided information. Number 1, using the wrong approach. This basically means the student didn't deconstruct the question properly. Number 2, forgetting format and presentation. This is just throwing away marks by ignoring basic conventions. And number 3, the absolute fatal flaw, providing answers that aren't specific to the context given.
I cannot emphasize this enough. The classic textbook mistake is providing generic answers. If you only take away one single thing from this entire explainer, let it be this. Always, always, always link every single point you make back to the given scenario. If the exam question describes a high-tech research lab using a supercomputer for genetic sequencing, your discussion of fault tolerance must relate specifically to the disastrous risks of losing days of continuous, irreplaceable genetic data. If you just write down the dictionary definition of fault tolerance, you get 0 marks. Context is absolutely everything here. Now, right before you walk into that exam hall, I highly recommend building a custom memory acronym to lock these specific factors right into your brain. Think of it as your mental cheat code. When you sit down, flip open the paper, and spot a question on 2.1 supercomputers, having a quick mnemonic to instantly remind you to check for fault tolerance, processors, context, and devaluation will keep you totally grounded. It ensures you hit every single requirement on the examiner's rubric without panicking. So, I leave you with this to consider. How will you apply the method mark strategy to your next past paper question? Are you just going to describe, or are you actually going to critically evaluate? Understanding fault tolerance and processor numbers is your foundation, but applying systematic analysis and respecting the exact context is how you build a totally bulletproof exam strategy. Students who implement these computer science strategies see an average improvement of 2 grade boundaries, but only if they practice consistently with our videos. Here's your final reminder. Subscribe to our YouTube channel Ace the Exams at @AceTheExams_IGCSE to excel in your Cambridge examinations. Subscribe right now to @AceTheExams_IGCSE and click that bell. Don't let another exam pass you by. Also, drop a comment below right now with your target grade for computer science and the biggest challenge you're facing. Our team responds to every comment. Like and share this explainer with a study partner. Keep practicing, stay focused, and I'll catch you in the next one.